Hi, it's Miss Best here from Best Online Tutor. Let's quickly go over solving systems of equations. Remember that there are three methods to solve systems of equations: graphing, substitution, or elimination. Graphing is the easiest method, but doesn't work every time. And depending on your teacher, some schools allow for a calculator. Graphing is definitely your choice if you have a calculator, but some schools do not allow calculator, and you need to learn it the algebraic method, substitution and elimination. Every school and most teachers will require you to be able to show that you know these three methods for solving systems of equations. Let's first look at substitution. In substitution, we solve for one variable and we substitute it, replace it in another equation. In this equation, we have negative 2x plus 5y is equal to 4. 4y plus 8, 4 times y is equal to 8. So our first step will be to solve for y. So pretty easy. We can see that we're going to divide both sides by 4. And y is equal to 2. Once we know what y is, we will go to the other equation and replace y with what we've discovered, y is equal to 2, the value of y. So I'm rewriting the first equation and replacing y with 2. Now we have one equation with one variable, and we can solve for x. Five times 2 is 10, so we have negative 2x plus 10 is equal to 4. We will subtract 10 from both sides. That goes to 0. We are left with negative 2x is equal to negative 6. And then divide both sides by negative 2. X is equal to negative 6 divided by negative 2, which is a positive 3. Okay, so that represents the solution point. And many teachers will require that you write your answer as a coordinate point. So x is 3 and y is 2. Okay, so that is an example of substitution. Let's look at elimination. Elimination is when we have two equations with two variables, or three equations with three variables, which you would see in Algebra 2. And we basically want to add the equations together where we have the additive opposite and one variable will cancel out. So when you're looking at these equations, you want to look and see, okay, which variable can I make the coefficients the same but opposite signs? And always go for the easiest one. And the easiest one is where you only have to change one equation. In this case, we have 6x minus 3y is equal to 21, 2x plus 2y is equal to 22. So it's easier to multiply the second equation by a negative 3, and that will give me a negative 6x here, which then I can add with the positive 6x and they will cancel out. So I would rather get rid of the x instead of the y, because if I try to do the y, I will have to multiply both the top and the bottom equation. Always want to go for the path with the least amount of work. So we are going to multiply the second equation by negative 3. I'm going to rewrite them over here. So I'm rewriting these equations. This is the first equation, which stays the same. But the second equation, negative 3 times 2, that's going to give us a negative 6x. And negative 3 times 2y will give us a negative 6y. And negative 3 times 22 will give us a negative 66. Okay, now we see that the x's have the additive opposite, meaning one number is positive, one number is negative, with the same coefficient, same magnitude. So we will add them together, and 6 minus 6 is going to cancel out to 0. Negative 3y plus negative 6y will give you negative 9y. And positive 21 plus negative 66 is a negative 45. Then we will divide both sides by negative 9 because we want to isolate the y. And we get y is equal to 5. 45 divided by 9 is 5. Positive 5. A negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, now we know what y is. Then we will take this y and go back and choose either equation, doesn't matter. I'm going to choose the second equation and plug in 5 to solve for x. So choosing the second equation, the original second equation, we have 2x plus 2, and then instead of y, we replace it with the y that we just solved for, which is 5. And that equals to 22. Okay, so then we have 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. We have 2x plus 10 is equal to 22. Subtract 10 from both sides. And we have 2x is equal to 12. Lastly, divide both sides by 2. And x is equal, let's move right here, we find out that x is equal to 6. So that is our solution point. We're going to write that as a coordinate point. X is 6 and y is 5, so 6, 5. Okay, this would be the point where these two lines intersected on the graph. Okay, thanks guys.